weird format. I know. I did all these goofers. I did goofers, but I did jokers, okay? The goofers are done. The jokers begin. Interesting idea for a movie. Batman has begun before, but what if the Joker becomes? What if I did this for 10 minutes? Okay. I used to cut myself, but now I just smell my own farts. And it works for me, okay? It works perfect for me. When I was in high school, my therapist was like, how about instead of cutting yourself, you just take a red marker, and whenever you're feeling bad, just do a little, as many times as you need. Won't that make you feel better? No! Not at all, not even a little bit. We should be telling teens that when they're feeling really bad, they should smell their own assholes, and that'll snap them out of it. Like, instead of cutting yourself, teens, why don't you just eat a little bit of shit? A little nugget. Maybe instead of Zoloft, we should just feel like, hey, if you're really that sad, drink some piss. Life could be worse. That's a really bad perspective to have on mental illness. It's pretty horrible. I have bipolar disorder. Sometimes when I tell people that, they freak out, which offends me because that's my thing. And my deal. That's me. I reserved being upset. Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good now. When I was in high school, I got so depressed once that I called the suicide hotline. But I called the wrong suicide hotline. I called the veteran suicide hotline. And the first thing that I heard when the guy picked up the phone was, "Hey, how you doing, soldier?" Which made me feel incredible. So good. I should still be that depressed. I should still want to kill myself. And the reason is I had taken a colonoscopy at 23. Okay. But you guys are afraid. A little bit of a camera up your butt. I was. That's okay. You should be afraid. It's terrifying. When you get a colonoscopy when you're 23, you get an AARP card and a gun with one bullet. You're like, choose your own adventure. I did a colonoscopy because I was at work one day and then all of a sudden I just started shitting blood. What? And see, I had a lot of horrible shits before. Like one time I shit myself on a monorail on my 9th birthday. At the zoo. The zoo's actually a pretty good place to shit yourself. Because people are just like, oh my god, look, that gorilla is wearing jeans. And they've soiled themselves. Isn't that beautiful? But yeah, I just shit a bunch of blood. And here's a little tip. Here's a little fun tip. If that ever happens to you, you shit a bunch of blood at work and you need to go to the ER. Fun tip. You don't have to tell your boss that you just shit a bunch of blood. You can say you're having chest pains or something. Personally, I wish I had known that tip before I told my boss that I just shit a bunch of blood. But I didn't. I went to Sophia, I just shit a bunch of blood, I need to go to the doctor. And that was actually kind of a beautiful moment, because it's really rare in this life that you get to see the exact moment in someone's eyes when they decide they don't want to be your friend. When they're like, no movies, not even going to invite you to a party. Bye-bye. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, so it could be a few things. You could have colon cancer, you could have Crohn's disease, or you could just be a person who shits a lot of blood. Definitely that last option is the worst. If you have cancer, people feel bad for you. If you're just a person who shits blood, they're like, what did you do to deserve this? It's obviously something pretty bad. So, the worst thing about getting a colonoscopy is you have to drink this gigantic jug of medicine to clean you out, and it tastes just like cum. And the thing is, before then I thought I liked the taste of cum. But that taught me what I really liked was earning it. My world is something. I got the colonoscopy and it turns out I'm just a person who shits blood. No cancer. My doctor told me that with a smile on his dumb fucking face. No cancer, you just shit blood. Fuck you. How dare you be happy for me? That's a tragic moment. I've been doing good, I've been doing solid. My mom and I have a really good relationship now, but when I was younger, I had kind of a tough relationship because I was a pretty bad kid. I stayed out late, pretty big into drugs when I was in high school. And one time, I came home super late, and she called me by my dad's name. She was like, hey Brian, if you're gonna act like that, then why don't you just divorce me? Sheesh, right? Strong sheesh moment. And I was like, well, yeah, Mom, we haven't fucked in 16 years. I was thinking about walking out that door. Any of you guys think that was a gross joke? Let me remind you, it was explicitly about how I have never fucked my mom. My dad's out of the picture. My dad died listening to the Shrek, the original motion picture soundtrack. I think that's what killed him. Doctors say cancer. I say Smash Mouth. He died listening to the Shrek, the original motion picture soundtrack because they gave me a thing to do while he was on his deathbed. They were like, what do you think would comfort your dad? What tunes do you think we should play? Because your dad dies. And I didn't see my dad that much. I only saw him on Saturdays, and every Saturday we watched Shrek, so I was like, do Shrek! What a horrible way to die. Songs going like, hey now. My dad's like, ow. You're a rock star. Ow. Get your game on. God. You could still be alive if Smash Mouth didn't rock so hard. That's what I'm saying. After he died, I had to do a Q&A about it in front of my entire 4th grade class. You might think bad idea. And if you do think that, then you would be smarter than the therapist that my school employed to pretty much just do good in those situations. But obviously she wasn't good at it. So the first thing a kid asked was, so hey, did you do it? Which I said no, but not convincingly. If you saw that, you'd be like, oh my God, the kid did it. Just look on that Law and Order, honey. It is true to life. But there's a rumor in my grade that I killed my own father. And for some reason, that didn't make the kids stop bullying me. You'd think they'd be like, oh, fucking, you gotta stay away from that one. And they were like, nah, let's tell her she's fat. You're fat and you killed your dad? Loser. I hate that, when you're a dad or you have a relative that passes away from cancer, somehow, some way, all these cancer organizations get your email. For the rest of your life, you get emails that are like, hey, come join this fun run for the cure. It's at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. We're not going to have Kleenex, even though you'll be openly weeping. And we just want you to run 20 miles and raise a bunch of money for a disease that already killed the person you love. It's not a very compelling argument. Why did you do that? I think I would maybe raise money for cancer if I could get sponsored to eat Denny's at 3 a.m. Yeah, if you eat 20 pancakes, we'll donate $500 to pancreatic cancer research. And if you eat 20 pancakes and you shit on the table, we'll donate $2,000. I'd be incredible at that. Very bad at running, even pretty bad at walking, so. This is my third show tonight. I'm very tired. What a dumb idea. But come to the next farewell show next week, please. You're not really beyond my game. But I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about God lately, and I gotta say, if I had to give God a review, maybe 6 out of 10. Definitely top notch. If the top of the scale would be 6 out of 10, and it would be 6 out of 10 because he did make my life a living hell for many years, but he also created Old Country Buffet. And I don't know if you've ever been to an Old Country Buffet, but I think that's heaven on earth. Because everything stops for 2 hours, and you just eat ice cream, and you're not sick until you're in the car. It's pretty beautiful. This is just a poem. That's not a joke. A poem about Old Country Buffet. But yeah, I think if I saw God on the street, I would say hello, but I would keep walking. I think we'd have a weird conversation. He'd be like, hey, how you doing? I'd be like, oh, pretty cool. Love your son. So hot. And then he'd be like, what? And I'd be like, that would be that. Can we do a prayer together really quick? I have a prayer I would like to do. It'll be a call and response, so I'll say a line, and then you'll say a line. And I just think it's important to have a prayer. I say it every at least 60 minutes, so it's better get it in there. So, dear God, hello, what the fuck is going on? We haven't heard from you in a while. And we just wanted to say, if you want to end it, just fucking end it. Amen. Good. I'll say this, I think there's one good thing about Trump being elected president, and it's simply that it means that God has finally answered our prayers with a resounding no. So clear? Thank you, big guy. I think that Trump is kind of an idiot because he seemingly wants to kill all trans people, but he hasn't asked me how to do it. And I have a pretty foolproof plan, alright? All you gotta do is invite him to a clothing swap. Trans people love clothing swaps. More than life itself. If I was invited to a clothing swap, but the price was my own life, I'd be fine with that as long as I was promised that I could find a black dress that would fit me for my funeral. That would be fine by me. A lot of people people don't know this, but the reason we have the Shroud of Turin today is because Jesus traded it to a trans woman at a clothing swap. Trans people just keep anything that fits, so. Wow. Where's my MacArthur Genius Grant? Being trans, almost entirely easy. One thing that I really hate is sometimes people are very performative about like being okay with trans people. Like they really want you to know how cool they are with trans people. So sometimes I'll have a friend, I have multiple friends that whenever they see me, they'll come up to me and be like, "Hey lady! Hey lady! Hi girl! Woman! Woman! Woman!" Also, I constantly have that kind of friend tell me like look at me and be like, you want me to tell you how to do makeup? You're doing woman wrong. Have you noticed that? Interesting. Like I know you're trying to do woman good. You're doing woman bad. Because I'm assuming that all trans women want to look like Carmen Electra in 1985. And that's what you're shooting for. Bad. It's like, do you think that me, a trans person who's transitioned, has transitioned so I can tell people, so I can be told by people how to dress slightly differently? Like just a different Oh, we get it. You were being told to be this kind of person before. You wanted to be told how to be a different kind of person. All you wanted was a different instruction booklet. We understand. Is it okay to say I hate those people? I really hate them. Can't believe they think I'm their friend. It's probably because I'm nice to them. And I hang out with them. And I message them back. Let's see. I feel like a lot of people have heard these jokes before, or some of them. I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. What a celebration of me. When you're trans, people yell things at you on the street. And the other day I thought somebody called me a tranny. They actually said trans. Eek! Scared, but respectful. Sometimes I think people are transphobic because they want to become like a Nazi or whatever. Or, like one of those things. But they want to dip their feet in the shallow end first. They want to try the little leagues. And transphobia is definitely the little leagues. Because you can just say pretty much any transphobic shit you want, and you still get to play another round of life. You don't lose your job or anything. They're just like, hey, try better next time. So the other day I was walking down the street and this guy looked at me and he pointed and he said, "You're a dude, you're a dude." And it's like, pal, gotta at least throw a slur in there. Come on. Try a little harder. I think a guy like that is waiting for a man in a suit to come into the shadows and be like, "Hey kid, I like your energy. If you ever want to get in some anti-Semitism, here's my card." Sometimes people do say things that genuinely scare me though. Like the other day, an older man on a bus looked at me and he said, "That man dressed like that deserves to be murdered." That was pretty scary. But I will say it made me feel good because it's the only time a baby boomer has ever told me I was entitled to something. Positive experience. I think, any trans person in the bathroom, that's a stressful experience, definitely. I think it's ridiculous that we think that the threat are people that like we think are men dressed in dresses, dressed as women, in women's restrooms. We shouldn't be afraid of trans people. We should be afraid of men dressed as toilets. That's the number one threat. You know, there's like a Reddit thread out there where it's like, yeah, you know, I fucking just painted myself white and put a bucket between my legs and nobody was the wiser. You see a guy like that wobbling around, you call the police, okay? Toilet is not a gender identity. But if it was, that would be fine, okay? One time I was in the bathroom, I was taking a poo, and this little girl came in, and it was just me in the bathroom. This little girl comes in, she starts singing the ABCs. I'm like, oh, does she have a gun? Hope not. She starts singing the ABCs, it's very creepy. She sings them again, she sings them a third time, and then silence. And then I hear some crawling. She comes under the bathroom door. And she goes, "Are you my mommy?" And I was like, "You can do better, sister." Like, you know that that's not who I am. Come on, is that like the only question you know? Oh, it is. So then I was faced with the choice, leave this little girl alone and get out of the bathroom, or help her out, find an adult, and have them put me in jail for 50 years. So bad news, I'm going to jail for 50 years. Sorry. Okay. Folks, friends, I'm gonna leave soon. I keep just staring at the ground. I'm just gonna lie down soon. I'm so tired. My grandpa died recently. My grandpa died last year. And I found out just about a year ago, almost a year ago today. And when I found out, I'm like used it as an excuse to get really, really drunk, which is kind of a lie because I was already pretty drunk. I was like, oh no, Grandpa's gonna die, another round. And I sent the two worst tweets in my life that night, the two bottom of the barrel tweets that night. And the second worst tweet was just me tweeting, "Anyone in Chicago want to fuck right now?" And then my actual phone number. Did not get any texts or calls, except for my best friend Rajat, and he was like, "We need to talk immediately." The number one worst tweet of all time that I've ever sent was a reply to a tweet from one of those like #resist Twitters. One of those Twitters that's just like, "Mr. Trump." And the tweet I replied to specifically was like, "The Trump administration is the most politically corrupt group of all time." And my reply was, "Hell yeah, brother." I didn't know I had that darkness in me. I went up to Ely to see my grandpa for the first time in a long time. Ely, Minnesota is a town about 30 minutes from the Canada border. We call it Canada border, not Canadian border. So that's not funny, I'm sorry. So I hadn't seen him in years because I didn't think he'd be cool with the whole trans thing. So I just kind of wore sweatpants and a t-shirt. And I get up to him. And first I see my grandma who's in the same nursing home. And she just kind of goes, "Hello." And I'm like, phew. Grandpa's got too much dementia to be bigoted. What a a weight off my shoulders. Because you have to have like a knowledge base to be bigoted, so you gotta have like, this is why I hate black people. This, you know, you have to have like something to reference. And she's gone. And then I see my grandpa. The first thing he says is, I hear you're going by Grace now. I did not know if that was like, he said it positively or negatively, so I was just like, I'm not gonna have a big coming out moment. And so I go, oh no, Grandpa, that was just a rumor. It was just from like a show. And then my grandpa really throws me a curveball. He says, oh really? Because I would have been fine with it. Which, it seems sweet, but you have to remember, I just told him a blatant lie. I'm not gonna be like, psych, bitch. You dumbass, obviously. Nice to see you, you dumb little old man. So that was sweet. It was. So I stay there the whole day. And at one point I leave for a while. My grandpa has memory issues too. So I come back, and when I come back, he thinks I'm my mom. And my mom and my grandpa haven't talked in years, and in a long, long time. And so he thinks I'm my mom, and he starts crying, and he's apologizing, and he says, thank you for coming to see me. And I give him a hug, and I leave pretty quickly after that, because I don't want the illusion to fade. I want him to think that his daughter, like, reconciled with him, which is very sweet. But I get back to my car, and that's when I realize, wow, my grandpa just mistook me for a 61-year-old woman. Like, fuck that guy, kind of. All right, thank you guys so much for coming.